rosy, a pocket full of rose. Your EMF is going on. I smell lilacs. Do you?
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
What's that?
What's the matter?
If you want to touch our hands, Linda, please light it up for yes. You caught that on camera, right, Steve?
You bet.
There's someone out there. I just saw that. So did I.
Told me to get out, and my head started pounding, everything started spinning.
Did you hear that? There's movement behind me.
Something just grabbed my leg.
Please don't touch me.
I had my own personal experience at the Alexander Keith's Brewery in the summer of 2010 while on a brewery tour with visiting family. Even within the confines of the granite walls, you could still feel the heat of the hot July day. There were about 20 of us waiting in this entranceway for the tour to commence. As I was standing there, I suddenly felt an electric charge go through my entire body. I felt pins and needles from head to toe. My skin was crawling with goosebumps, and the hair on my arm stood up on end. It was a feeling I'd experienced before on investigations, and I knew immediately that a spirit had just walked right through me. So in the spring of 2011, LWPI conducted an official investigation of the Alexander Keith's Brewery. We brought in all of our equipment and set up stationary IR cameras in the hallway leading to the bar, the games room, the back sitting room, and the tunnel that Mr. Keith once walked daily to get from his home to his brewery. We ran recorders in every room and investigated into the early hours of the morning. The following video was presented to the brewery after we wrapped up our investigation. Alexander Keith was born in Halkirk, Scotland, on October 5, 1795. After learning the art of brewing from his uncle, he emigrated to Canada in 1817, and within 3 years he started up Keith's Brewery. He was a very prominent figure in Halifax. He served on many boards of directors, was mayor of Halifax 3 times, a member of Legislative Council for 30 years, and was also a prominent member of Freemasonry. He was married twice. After the death of his first wife, Sarah Ann Stalcup, he married his cousin Eliza, and together they had 9 children, 2 sons and 7 daughters, 4 of whom died before the age of 5. It is said that even in death, Alexander Keith walks the halls of his brewery to ensure that everything is running in accordance with his strict standards. Apparitions have been reported, voices and footsteps have been heard, and in the summer of 2010, I had my own personal experience while partaking in the brewery tour. On April 12, 2011, LWPI spent the night in the brewery to see if we could capture any evidence of paranormal activity. Eastlink Television joined us for the first half of our investigation. The following clips contain video and audio evidence that we have been able to confirm by audio and video cross-comparison. While we were conducting an EVP session in the games room, we all heard a loud reverberating noise come from the bar area. During audio review, it was discovered that the noise was actually recorded as a voice saying, "We're out here." Since spirits often make a noise to get their voice out, Lindsay and I returned to the brewery a week later to try and find the source of the noise. While I assumed it would be a table or bench being dragged or pushed across the wooden floor, we quite accidentally discovered a creaking floorboard in the bar area that made exactly the same noise.
Okay,
That sounded to me.
That's got to be someone coming back in.
That sounded to me like somebody out there just farted.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, way to go, Pete.
That's what I thought.
That
Who
sounded
has the
like
walkie-talkie? Ask Dee.
That's what it sounded like.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but so I'm not the only one that heard it.
Did you make a noise?
Jesus,
No?
That was really.
Are you sure?
That was
Did you
loud.
ask me if you heard it? Did you hear it? I can't hear him on the walkie-talkie. Can you hear
Yeah,
it?
I know. Like you're talking.
I don't know that he knows that either. Stop holding the button down, that's fine. Could you hold it and button down and repeat that? He heard you laugh.
Oh, he didn't hear the noise?
Is he out there by himself?
Yeah.
That was loud. I thought it was
loud.
exactly what you guys thought it was.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Should I tell him what we thought it was?
Yeah.
It sounded like a fart. What did you say? What was that? I'm sorry. I said it sounded like a farting noise.
Thank you for clarifying that. That was loud.
It was loud.
He didn't hear it though.
No?
I wonder what it was.
It sounded like it came from the bar.
It's definitely
It-
running, yeah.
Down where you put the recorder?
Oh, what was that? That's got to be someone coming. That's got to be someone coming back in. Oh, what was that? That's got to be someone coming. That's got to be someone coming back in. Oh, what was that? That's got to be someone coming. That's got to be someone coming back in. Oh, what was that? That's got to be someone coming. That's got to be someone coming back in.
We've slowed the video down to half speed so you can see the orb fly between the beer kegs. Earlier in the evening, while we were setting up, I was in the games room when I thought I heard the voice of what sounded like a young girl. This EVP was captured later on in the same room. The voice trails off, but what can be made out is, "Hey, I have a young girl." Since spirits and guides often bring others forward, I believe that this is someone bringing the young girl to us.
I still hear it. I know, so do I. Just then I heard a woman's voice. Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
I still hear it. I know, so do I. Just then I heard a woman's voice. Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
After Eastlink left us for the evening, we decided to take a break and regroup. We left all of our audio recorders running, and this EVP was captured on Lindsay's audio recorder, located in the games room, which proved to be one of the more active areas that evening. Since the brewery is fully operational, we did have some noise from refrigeration units kicking on and off that we had to work around. At this point in the evening, Lindsay, Sean, and Steve were in the back games room trying to start up communication in another way.
There's a lot of rattling coming from the fan in the next room, which makes it difficult to hear your noises. So if you could make louder noises or noises that are closer to any three of us, that would be greatly appreciated. Two taps this time. Was that you? Could you repeat that?
Did you hear a tap?
Is that you tapping?
No, I heard a tap.
I
Sounded
heard
like
a
it
tap
came.
going from your direction.
Sounded like it came from the corner over to my left.
that way.
Yeah.
During the investigation, myself, Sean, and Steve were at one end of the bar having an EVP session, and there was a noise that happened behind me. It sounded like floor creaking or movement behind me, and I confirmed with Sean and Steve that there was a noise and it was coming directly from behind me. So I turned around, wasn't too fond of the noise coming behind me, and I said, if you're going to approach me, approach from my face. And a few seconds later there was more noise directly behind me again, and then I started to get quite a cold feeling down my back and on my right hand, and my right hand didn't warm up for quite some time, which is a very strange experience. Alright, so if you do that noise again, the whispering, this time we have no way of disputing it. The fan is off, the speakers are off. It's all you. Did anybody just shift then? Where's that coming from?
Sounds like it's coming from behind you. The shifting on the floor.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's behind you.
Yeah, it sounds like it's somewhere behind you.
Are you over there? I don't mind if you approach me, I just prefer if you do it towards my face. Where was that?
Again, it sounds like it's coming behind you. Like in between you and Steve.
That's great.
EVP, Electronic Voice Phenomenon. If our personality survives, then it is strictly logical or scientific to assume that it retains memory, intellect, other faculties and knowledge that we acquire on this earth. Therefore, if we can evolve an instrument so delicate as to be affected by our personality as it survives in the next life, such an instrument, when made available, ought to record something. Thomas Edison. Almost 40 years after Edison made that statement, Friedrich Jürgensen, a Swedish filmmaker, discovered that such a device did exist. In 1959, he started to study the tiny voices that he captured in the recordings he was making. When he realized that they were the voices of the dead, the field of EVP, electronic voice phenomena, was born. EVPs are voices or speech recorded in audio but not heard with a human ear during recording. EVPs can be interactive. An investigator may ask a question, leaving a pause in the conversation in which a spirit voice is recorded answering. EVPs can also be random messages or talking between spirits, but they always contain speech. EVPs have 4 different classifications or categories. Class A, crystal clear. Anyone listening to the recording hears exactly the same thing without being told what is being said. Class B, audible but not very clear. needs to be listened to several times in order to understand what is being said. Class C, not very audible, a whispered message. Class R is when an EVP has a reverse meaning or a mirror effect. It could be a Class A, B, or C recording, and then when played in reverse, it has a completely different quality and message. Every EVP should be played in reverse to check for a Class R EVP. One of my personal experiences on the brewery tour was that I kept seeing lights. The first time it happened, we were in the bar and we were playing Barrett's Privateer, and it was just ending near the end of the song, and I saw a quick flash of light off in the corner of the room, about a little higher than what would be waist level on me. Now, I saw them at least 7 times during the night, and they were always the same color, an icy blue, and almost like an icy blue silver glint. And they weren't a ball, it would just flash a light and then it would be gone. And Lindsay also witnessed one of the sightings with me, as well as Megan. And I've recreated some photographs for you to see a little later on in the video, just to give you an idea of what it was that I was seeing. Unfortunately, we didn't capture it on video, but maybe next time. There was a light right up there on that table. Actually, it's not on the table, it's down, it was down here about bench level. There was a light right there. That's Beast popping.
Because I definitely heard that one.
Do you have the watch that?
Oh, you actually brought it in?
Yeah, the one of us. Guy, did you just cough? Okay, thank you. While sitting in the back room, I experienced a complete blockage of sound in my right ear that lasted 2 or 3 seconds. While Megan and I are discussing this, the sound of footsteps walking away is picked up on the audio. None of us heard it when it happened.
The ear thing was different than like the fluttering you get?
Yeah, it wasn't a flutter, it was
Okay.
a complete block.
How's that? Oh crap.
Because it freaked me out.
Oh.
Because that's what Sean used to get.
So is that a good thing then?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Towards the end of the shoot on Thursday night, I was in on one of my last shoots with Meredith, Megan, and Kimberly. And they were just in to try and get a last EVP session. I was sitting on a bench just in front of the bar. And Kimberly had mentioned that she thought she heard a voice. And she asked if I had heard it. And I said, no, but there's something touching my leg. Felt like a hand was on my leg. Very distinct feeling. I didn't think too much of it. And next day, after I finally got some sleep, I got up, I got in the shower, and I noticed I had bruise marks on my leg from where that hand had, what appeared to be a hand anyway, had touched on my leg. So I passed that info on. Me being the skeptic, it's something else for me to think over now as to what it actually was.
Can you hear the singing?
No.
Can you hear it, Steve?
No. Well, right now it feels like somebody's got their hand on my leg.
Because I could have sworn it was coming right from where you are.
While doing an EVP session in the back section of the bar, I invite someone to come forward and touch one of us. It was shortly after I extended this invitation that I once again see the same light that Lindsay and I had both seen in this room earlier. Just prior to this, I had also seen it outside of the games room. First it appears on the outside corner of the wall, then on the side closest to us. As I explain what I had just experienced seeing, Megan speaks up and says she felt a touch on her right leg.
If there's somebody here, could you touch... Is it okay if they touch you, Mary? I've been touched before. I mean, they can touch me if they want, but it won't
they
mean
can touch
anything
me.
to me. Okay, could you touch either Meredith, who's on my left, or Megan, who's further on my left? Could you touch one of those two people? Just to let them know that you're here? Gently. Do you hear the music, Steve?
Not now.
Oh, I still hear the music. And I just saw another one of those lights right over there.
I thought I heard a footstep.
Right, and I just saw another one. First it was, where's my flashlight? First it was there, on that corner, and then it was right over here, on this corner. It was about the same height both times.
You know the feeling of like a cat rubbing up against your leg?
Yeah.
I just had that on the outside of my right leg.
Since staff once reported hearing a third unseen person joining in as they sang a song during the brewery tour, we thought maybe someone would join in if we played a CD of the actors performing the same ballad. While we didn't hear a third person joining in, during video review we did catch some suspicious orb activity in the room. We don't put much stock in orbs because they are often just dust or bugs caught on camera, but we thought we'd include these and let you decide for yourself. The first one shoots from the back wall down to the floor near Rob, just as Lindsay sits down. The next one appears as Steve pans towards the tunnel. It moves forward, then to the left about a foot and drops straight down. We've included both clips slowed down to make viewing them easier. While Lindsay and I were reviewing the 5 hours of stationary camera footage, we got the chance to see a lot of orbs, which were caused by dust floating in the air. They were quite notably dust and not anything paranormal because they followed an airflow. However, we did spot a strange orb in the back sitting room that was brighter and more solid than any others we viewed on our screens. It didn't follow a predicted airflow in this room. It comes in on the right, leaves briefly, then comes back, pausing in front of the IR camera. Then it moves towards the back where the chair is and the trigger object that we'd placed, a picture of Eliza Keith. Then it flies off to the left of the screen. Take a look.
There was one in our bottling plant. There's a girl that was working at Mary's Breadbasket. And we have a set of stairs going up to an office that nobody else can get to. The door is locked. So this one night, she seen a black figure zoom up the stairs. She went out to see if anybody was there, and there was nobody there. Yeah, his first experience was up in the greenhouse, where it was a knock on the window or a bang on the window, and we turned around and the office that it actually happened in, there was nobody in. It was pitch dark. On back shifts, I used to do a lot of back shifts, and we used to have a bar called Alexander's here. And after they would close, you would see spirits in one of our courtyards dancing around. Every once in a while, it wasn't every night, that this woman and the little girl would come out and they would sit on the steps in our courtyard. And then when I'm outside doing my outside round, there's a presence of somebody following me. Being back shifts all by yourself, you don't know what to expect. It doesn't bother me